What's up everyone and welcome to a bit of a progression guide to the latest Warframe update, the Heart of Deimos. Sorry the videos have been really lacking recently. I've been very busy with a lot of stuff, so I just really haven't had time to just sit down and to make a video for you all. So we're going to go through the new update, the new systems, updates to existing systems, and talk about sort of the most efficient ways to progress through the latest update. So without any further chat, let's get right into that. The main currency of this update is tokens relating to the Entrati. Mother, daughter, son, father, Otek and grandmother all have separate and different tokens available to them, each gaining them in separate ways. Mother is by far the easiest to get tokens for. Every bounty you do will get you mother tokens, and this is probably going to be the main one you stock up to trade in for standing to rank up with this faction. The easiest way to get these is if you run the Steel Path bounty with a frame with armor strip like Hildrin or Nyx, and a good melee. Everything dies pretty easily and pretty nicely. However, do a couple of those per day and you're going to max out your standing with the Entrati pretty quickly and very easily, as well as stock up for days where you don't really fancy playing. Ranking up as well as grandmother tokens all require a mix of all the tokens and are used for a number of other things as well. So how do we go about getting these? Son is in charge of conservation. Either you find his tokens in caves as just things lying on the floor, a bit like the toroids, or you can take part in the conservation minigame. It works almost exactly the same way as any other conservation. Use lure, use the bait if you want to, trank the target, nothing really new here. Honestly though, just take out your trank rifle, run around the Deimos plains and capture things, it's pretty effective. Packs of dogs, you've got cats all over the place. The flying things you can K-drive on birds, the dung beetle looking things. You can find them all just hanging around. Some are specific to Fast, some of them are specific to Vohm. But if you go out during those two specific times, you can find the different animals just hanging around the open world. It's nice because unless you're targeting something extremely specific, you can just, enjoy the open world and have the conservation feel way more natural rather than the really sort of, I guess, fake, false feeling of conservation that you get on the plains and the Venus, where everything is done basically via the lures. Thankfully, they reduce the amount of sun tokens you're going to need to rank up now, so you aren't going to need too many of these anymore like you did before. However, you are going to need a bunch of them to trade to grandmother, so this is how you're going to have to go about getting them. If you're hunting the infested dogs and cats though to turn into companions, you need to make sure they get attacked by infested before you trank them to make them weakened. Otherwise, they will not get added to your list of available animals to use for turning into companions. Found this one out the hard way after doing a whole bunch of conservation. So I would recommend not clearing out the area around their lure point and getting them, just basically let them get attacked and then trank them. A little bit risky, since they might get killed or flee. But that is really the only way to get them without hoping, RNG blesses you with the rare breeds like the Panzer, just while you're walking around the plains. Daughter is the person in charge of the fishing, and like the mining, there's not really much new with the fishing. Only difference is that you might have to wait for the fish to get out of the goop and start floating around before you can fish them. I mean, that is until you bought one of the new infested fishing spears, and then you can hit them in the goop as well. In terms of bait, you use the Fast and Vohm stuff that you're picking up off the floor when the respective worms and basically end each other. I'm not going to go into depth as to which fish you get where, because, well, this time the descriptions on the fish are actually pretty accurate, so just have a quick look in game and you will find them pretty easily. Otek is the mining guy, sells his tokens for mining materials. Again, nothing has really changed with mining. Equip Blazer, do minigame, get materials. Use his blueprints to make minerals into something useful. Pretty much all you need to know about Otek. Grandmother has mostly cosmetic stuff for sale, however she does have one mineral needed for crafting a couple of the weapons, to be honest. She trades in everybody else's tokens for her own ones. Her tokens do give the most rep, but since Mothers are so easy to get and the others require some farming and some time investment, it's not worth specifically trading in for the grandmother ones, rather than just doing a couple of, Steel Path bounties and having a day's worth of rep from Mother. If you're wanting to use these for rep, however, I would hold off until you have bought the 3 Seraglass shards you're going to need to buy to build these weapons, which is going to cost you 60 grandmother tokens in total. Father is the one that will trade free roam materials for his tokens. He is the weapon guy right now, and eventually will have infested kit gun parts. However, at the time of making this video, they're not currently in the game, but his tokens are a lot easier to get, especially now Scintillant has been removed from his requirements. And then we have the Necraloid standing, which is the faction responsible for the Necromechs, and well, that's about it right now. However, to go about farming stuff for this and building a Necromech, you're going to have to run the special Necraloid bounty from Mother. For this, you are going to get the Orokin Matrices, Necromech parts, and the thing that is just a complete meme in the community right now, the Scintillant. There's a really good way to go about farming the vaults to be the most efficient possible and get the best rewards. You need to get all 3 vaults done in a single FAS or VOM cycle. Doing this gives you a higher chance for better rewards. The 3 vaults are all in the same place, and you can see them on the screen now, labelled in which order to do them, and they're all the same format. Start the bounty, gather FAS or VOM stuff, defend a thing, defend an area while killing things, kill Necromechs, complete the vault, then profit. It's really, really easy. You just need to do things as efficiently as possible. Bring weapons you're going to kill effectively with, some form of armor strip, and strong defenses. The enemy Necromechs do a lot of damage and can reflect your own damage back at you, so you'll need something that can sort of deal with that. Hildren is one way with her armor strip, shield gate, and huge survivability. Personally, I found my favourite to be Nyx. Visually, it appears her 2 doesn't work sometimes, however, it definitely does strip all their defences, and then just use Assimilate for survivability. If you're doing it in a squad, bring a Necros, since you can desecrate Necromechs for extra parts, which makes farming those and the Scintillant so much more effective. Make sure to do the vaults as well. You get so many good things from them. Argon, fishing, mining materials, high chance at Iatan stars, not to mention the extra rewards from doing them. It's absolutely worth taking the time to do. As for farming the other stuff efficiently, well, there's no real way to do the conservation efficiently. Either free roam around with the tranq rifle out, grab what you see, or pick up the lures with rep. It's not really a lot you can do here. Free roam stuff, fishing, and mining materials can all be done in a pretty efficient way, as long as you're not targeting something particularly specific. I mean, well, it's more efficient than actually doing the respective activities anyway, as long as you're going for things in bulk. Around the open world, you will find these towers that can be activated with void damage. Each of these towers is marked with one of the void words, which have different effects to them. I'll put a link to a Reddit thread explaining these in the description below, so you get all the information on them. But the safe bet with all these towers is that enemies killed using void damage around them, such as with the amp that you see me doing in the footage, the enemies will drop Deimos specific resources, including all 3 of these types of resources, the free roam, fishing, and mining. This means there is a combat option to farm all of this in bulk, rather than doing some tasks that can be seen as being boring or annoying. This right now is by far the most effective and most efficient way of progressing. You can take it to the next level too. In the vaults, the infested spawn basically infinitely, and each of these vaults has one of these towers, so if you wanted to, you could sit and farm these inside a vault, get lots of materials. An hour or 2 of this and you're good for a few days worth of rep, as long as you're turning them in for tokens. I've literally only just run out of materials 4 days after the original small farm that I did on the day of release. So yeah, it's pretty efficient and very, very effective. If you do need specific stuff, the descriptions of all the items are very, very accurate this time around, which is nice. Having the vague descriptions on some of the things on the plains and on the Valis really wasn't helpful, but on the Deimos side of things, it's actually a lot more accurate. So if you need something very specific, check those and you'll find where to get them very, very easily. However, that is pretty much a very, very in-depth guide of how to progress on Deimos and what is the current fastest way to do it. Any tips and tricks you can think of, drop them in the comments below. Let me know what you think of the update so far, but for now, I hope you have a great weekend, and I shall catch you in the next video.